Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Uplift Talk with Candace J. I'm your host. Today, we have a special guest with us that is going to share some awareness in her journey as a survivor of breast cancer. As you all know, that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I have a special guest, Miss Barbara Jones. Just go ahead and introduce yourself and give us your story, your diagnosis, um, your prevention. And just lift up our viewers in a word of encouragement towards the end.
Hi, my name is Barbara Jones, and I'm coming to share my story with you guys for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, back in 2015, I went to have a mammogram, my normal mammogram that I would have once a year. And when I went, I got a letter in the mail, and they wanted me to come back to have an ultrasound. So I went back and had the ultrasound, and they looked and they said everything was fine. So I kind of went on, moved forward with my life, uh, relieved that they didn't find anything. So in 2016, I had my annual mammogram again, and they did it with a 3D. And I got another call back that said they needed me to come back in again because they thought they saw something and it was very distinct in the mammo through the 3D. So when we went through the same field again of having the ultrasound done. And again, the girl was like, I don't see anything. And she was so confident in herself. She's like, I never miss anything, but I really don't see anything. She called the doctor and he came, he checked, and he felt around as well. And because that was the second time that they said they saw something, I was a little more proactive with them because you have to be an advocate for yourself. So I said to them, well, since this is the second time in question, I am asking for you guys to look further. And so the doctor said, well, he agreed. So he sent me to a surgeon. But when I went to see the surgeon, she kind of was on the same line with them, like, okay, well, I'm going to do another ultrasound. If I don't see anything, then everything's fine. Uh, I had the ultrasound done, but the lady that did my ultrasound the third time, she was a little more aggressive with it. I complained that she was like doing it really too hard, but it was good. And it was a divine intervention that she did do it hard because when she did, she was able to see something. And so she said, well, I did see something. It feared me a little bit, but I do know who God is. So I said, well, I'm not going to stress because I have to wait, until I get my biopsy done. Moving forward, I got the biopsy done, and I got the biopsy done maybe in March. No, I got the biopsy done in April. Um, before my results came back, I said, well, I was riding in the car. You know how you just kind of talking to yourself, and I just kind of felt the spirit come over me, and I just heard God's voice say to me, "Whatever it is, it's gonna be okay." And I had to pull over. I pulled over and kind of praised Him. Called my sister, um, shared with her, and she just also assured me it was gonna be okay. And I said, "I know, I believe because I heard His voice tell me that." So the following week, when I went to get my readings, she did say it was carcinoma, um, but it was a carcinoma that was estrogen positive, which is a good thing because um, it had moved, it hadn't spread it, and I was able to have my treatment and have it done as a lumpectomy. Still not knowing like how far it was, um, but she assured me that with I guess the findings that my numbers seemed a little low, so she was almost certain that that would be my treatment and radiation. Um, Scheduled me for surgery. About maybe a month later, I was scheduled for surgery. Again, the same thing. Had the surgery, still kind of walking on my faith. Never stressed. Came in with a smile. Well, actually, let me go back. So when she gave me my results, the surgeons, I said, okay, so what are we going to do now? And
Mhm.
she looked at me and she said, I never had anyone be this calm with getting a diagnosis such as this. She said, and I just never had that reaction. I said, well, I've already been told that whatever this was, it was going to be okay. So the only thing I can do now is just move forward with it, and we just do what we need to do to fix it. And that's how I went into surgery, with the same demeanor, the same mannerism. And I think, there it kind of made people feel like, okay, she could do this, and she's coming in here and she's not, crying, she's not upset. She's just like, okay, I'm ready to do this so we can get this over with. That way I can move on with my life. And, I just think it's so important for us as women to not take the first thing that they say to you and say, okay, it's gonna be okay. Um, I think for me too, I should have back in 2015 said look further. But when you hear them say everything is fine, it's like such a relief. You don't even really think to pursue it.
Mhm.
It's it's so important to do that because it's really our lifeline. So you have to really pay attention to what's going on with your body. Don't ignore the symptoms. Don't ignore any signs. The first time you feel something, say something, because it does save your life. And then I didn't know that having my ovaries still, because I had a hysterectomy, but having my ovaries actually caused me to have the breast cancer, because it was building, my body kept building a lot of estrogen. So, ladies, if you do have a hysterectomy, don't allow them to keep your ovaries. Make sure they get rid of them, because these are some of the things that can happen to you. And we're not really knowledgeable of it. But I just wanted to share my story because some people may not even realize that when you have a hysterectomy and you keep your ovaries, that they actually can produce a lot of estrogen in your body and it can produce cancer.
So, what would be your word of encouragement to someone who just may have been diagnosed with cancer?
I would say don't allow don't allow this disease to over consume you, um, consume your thoughts and your mind. Just stay prayerful, because you can survive. Um, I just want to share with you, uh, a colleague from a facility where I worked, and she actually has recovered from triple breast cancer. It's like, I think it's like triple negative breast cancer or triple positive breast cancer, and it's a very aggressive cancer. So I'm just saying to you guys, when you have faith and you know who God is, believe in Him. Make sure you still do everything healthy wise, um, as far as your nutrition, your diet, your eating is really important too, because cancer likes to live off of sugar. So just kind of, stay positive, walk in faith, and know that God has your back. And don't allow this to consume you. You consume it.
Any last remarks you would like to make?
Um, just make sure you get your tatas checked on a regular. So important. Save your girls. That's it.
Well, thank you so much for your time and sharing your story. I pray that
Thank you.
someone that will be watching this will be uplifted and empowered and inspired to go along in their breast cancer journey. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in on this edition of Uplift Talk with myself, Candace J., and my guest, Miss Barbara Jones. Peace and
Thank
blessings.
you.